Homage to fundamental teacher Buddha Shakyamuni. Homage to wisdom warrior Manjushri. Homage to all lineage benevolent masters. The Dharma, infinitely profound and subtle, is rarely encountered, even in a million eons. Now we are able to hear, study, and follow it. May we fully realize Tathagata's true meaning. In order to liberate all sentient beings, generate supreme bodhicitta. Below, we teach the words of my perfect teacher, teaching the uncommon preliminaries. Today, we teach the classification of refuge. We have already introduced that taking refuge in the three jewels first requires having sufficient faith. Faith includes pure faith, eager faith, and irreversible confident faith. These three kinds of faith are indispensable. This principle was already introduced in our previous class. Below, we teach the second point, the classification of refuge. Refuge with such sincere faith is also divided into three types according to different motivations. There are three types of refuge. Everyone must definitely, absolutely understand this point clearly. Those of us present here, whether monastics or lay people, all assume we have already taken refuge in Buddhism long ago, but we may not have examined ourselves. What type of Buddhist who has taken refuge in the three jewels are we? We must definitely find this out. Are we actually middling beings, superior beings, or lesser beings? Specifically, we ourselves should know what we are like. The first is, if one takes refuge out of fear of the sufferings of the three lower realms, hell, hungry ghosts, and animals hoping for the happiness of higher realms of gods and humans, this is called lesser being refuge. Some people fear falling into hell, hungry ghost, or animal realms in their next life and experiencing the limitless sufferings of the three lower realms. They themselves wish to seek the happiness of heaven and the happiness of the human realm. To obtain such happiness and avoid the sufferings of lower realms, they take refuge in the three jewels. This is called lesser being refuge. Such people should be quite numerous in the world now. I see some Buddhists who don't particularly value the next life. In this lifetime, they think of avoiding some fears and terrors and obtaining some worldly happiness. For example, thriving business, family peace, or obtaining promotions and wealth, etc. Taking refuge for such purposes may be inferior even to lesser being refuge. So sometimes I see temples crowded with people. Many are Buddhists who have taken refuge, and some also like to get refuge certificates frequently. But when you get a refuge certificate, many do so for some happiness in this life, to avoid some sufferings in this life. In such cases, it basically cannot be included in genuine refuge. So in the future, when we teach others about the three refuges and 5 precepts, we must understand these principles clearly. Whether you are a monastic or lay person, how did your initial refuge in Buddhism come about? Each person should examine their conscience. What state are you in now? This point must definitely be clarified. The second is, if one recognizes that whether born in samsara's higher or lower realms, one cannot escape the nature of suffering, and to escape all sufferings of samsara and attain the peaceful state of nirvana, one takes refuge in the three jewels. This is called middling being refuge. Through study, through hearing, contemplating, and practicing, you know that whether reborn in the 3 lower realms or 3 higher realms, all are inseparable from suffering. When we taught the sufferings of samsara, before everyone knew there is no happiness in the 3 realms. Just as there are no delicacies in an unclean toilet, all of samsara is suffering. To escape such suffering and take refuge in the 3 jewels, this is called middling being refuge. Some people may want to go alone to the pure land of bliss, wanting alone to obtain some merits of pure realms. The goal of taking refuge in this way is actually to obtain liberation for oneself, not wanting to experience suffering oneself. This type of refuge practitioner should also be quite numerous. This is called middling being, not the highest level. So what is the best? The third is, if one directly sees all beings sinking in the vast boundless ocean of samsaric suffering unimaginable various profound hardships and oppressions, and to establish them in the omniscient, supreme, true, perfect enlightenment, and takes refuge, this is called great being refuge. This is what we need. If you see limitless beings all sinking in the ocean of suffering, they are truly very pitiful, and we cannot generate the intention for ourselves alone to obtain liberation. but should establish all beings in the supreme perfect great enlightenment and take refuge in the three jewels. This is genuine refuge. Taking refuge in the three jewels itself indeed has extremely great merit. In this world, there is nothing more important. As it seems to say in the Itivuttaka, the most supreme are three, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The most profound objects are three, namely Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Through generating pure faith, one can see the most supreme Dharma. The sutra teaches this way. If one generates truly pure faith toward the three jewels, one can see the incomparable Dharma in this world, the most profound Dharma. For us, taking refuge in the three jewels is extremely fortunate. It should be said to be the greatest attainment in this world. But among these, the most important is taking refuge for the benefit of all beings rather than obtaining liberation for myself alone, or obtaining happiness in divine and human realms for myself in the next life. As Buddhists, we must definitely understand this point clearly. Among these three kinds of motivation and three kinds of refuge, we must have the great being motivation of hoping to establish limitless beings in the perfect enlightenment and take refuge. Among these three types of refuge, for us who study Mahayana Buddhism, we must definitely take refuge for the benefit of limitless beings to establish limitless beings in the supreme perfect enlightenment and generate this motivation and take refuge. This has the greatest merit and is also the most supreme. As taught before in the Flower Ornament Sutra, eliminate all mental poisons, contemplate and cultivate supreme wisdom, not seeking happiness for oneself, but wishing all beings to be free from suffering. This spirit in our motivation is the most precious and supreme, that is, eliminating all selfish minds. Selfish minds that are like poison while constantly contemplating benefiting all limitless beings in the world, not seeking happiness for oneself, but benefiting and helping all beings be free from suffering and attain happiness. This kind of mind is most supreme. The happiness of higher realms of gods and humans may temporarily seem like happiness, but actually doesn't transcend the category of suffering. One day, after the good karmic fruits of higher realms are exhausted, one will again fall into the three lower realms to suffer. There's a story in the Sutra of Parables from before. In one place there were 100,000 monks. Among them, 50,000 monks were arhats who had attained fruition, and 50,000 had not attained fruition. An elder developed faith in them and, wanting to obtain happiness in divine and human realms, made offerings to them. Among them, a great master with high realization said during the final dedication, "The offering you made today actually created great negative karma." Many others didn't understand why offering to so many monks would create negative karma. Could he have spoken wrongly? Actually, it wasn't wrong. Later, he explained in detail because he made offerings to obtain divine and human realms. Temporarily, you obtain merit in divine and human realms, but ultimately you still fall into lower realms. Therefore, this kind of motivation and offering feast is not very excellent. So, the key for us now is when creating merit or doing any virtuous deeds, we shouldn't seek happiness for ourselves or seek for ourselves in the future, but should wish for beings to benefit. This kind of motivation will indirectly benefit ourselves too. So we absolutely cannot pursue momentary happiness in higher realms. If it's only for oneself alone to attain the peaceful, blissful nirvana of Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, without benefiting the limitless beings who since beginningless time have been our parents and now sink in the ocean of samsaric suffering, this is truly unreasonable. Indeed, limitless beings have all been our parents. Now they all sink in the ocean of suffering, while I want to happily obtain liberation myself. This doesn't make sense. Hoping all beings can attain Buddhahood and taking refuge in the three jewels is the bridge to immeasurable merit of great beings. So we should naturally cultivate great being refuge. Therefore, in Nagarjuna's precious garland of the middle way, it says, beings are limitless, benefiting them is likewise. Because the realm of beings is limitless, if we wish to help these beings and contemplate, generate motivation, and practice the six perfections, then it's merit. This kind of virtue is also limitless. Why is the merit of generating motivation so great? Because the object of focus is limitless. The power of our motivation or its merit is also boundless. So everyone present should understand during the refuge process what kind of merit refuge actually has. This point must definitely be known. If we ourselves don't have such motivation and always take refuge for our own benefit, it may not become especially great merit. Perhaps like the example I just gave, it instead becomes a cause for the three realms. There's a sutra called Sutra on the Samadhi of the Four Youths. This sutra says, "What happiness is there in the three realms, repeatedly flowing and turning in birth after death, again more birth, increasing continuous suffering. Continuously wandering in samsara has no great meaning. Therefore, we must cut the root of samsara and generate supreme bodhicitta to take refuge. Therefore, as Mahayana Buddhists in any kind of situation, benefiting beings cannot be forgotten. This point, when we practice the 500,000 preliminaries this time, we must definitely, in the process of generating motivation first, I practice the 500,000 preliminaries this time, not to obtain liberation for myself. I'm not doing this to obtain some tantric transmission for myself. If I don't complete the preliminaries in the future, I might not receive tantric teachings. Therefore, my purpose this time is to practice 500,000 preliminaries to obtain a listening certificate. In such cases, there are also certain unreasonable aspects, so everyone must definitely generate motivation to benefit beings. This is very important. Below, we teach the methods of refuge. The third point is the methods of refuge. There are several methods of refuge. First, we teach the common vehicle's method of refuge, taking refuge through sincerely trusting Buddha as teacher, Dharma as path, and Sangha as companions on the path. In our usual Sutrayana teachings, it's also explained this way. For example, if someone goes to India, they first need a guide, an experienced person who has been there before or understands this aspect well. Then to go to India, they definitely need roads, whether air routes or ground highways, etc. Roads are definitely needed. Also, when going there, companions and Dharma friends are needed. These three are definitely needed. Otherwise, if no one has ever been there, probably no one would know what to do in India, so there's no way. There should be some people who have been there before to ask, how much money does it cost to go to India? Is 10,000 yuan enough? How much should I prepare? I'll calculate myself. Oh, I now have 9,999 yuan. About how much more do I need? So they first need to ask experienced people, then how to proceed. So this is called, for beings to attain perfect enlightenment, first they must take refuge in the Buddha. Buddha is like a guide. He instructs us how to walk the path. So first relying on the Buddha, this is called taking refuge in the Buddha. Then the Buddha, he once relied on practicing the path to attain the path, so the Dharma he taught is equivalent to the path we travel on. So second, we must take refuge in the Dharma. If we have no one in the process of traveling the path, we might be somewhat afraid. One person doesn't dare go. In case there are bandits or something on the road, we must find someone reliable. But at the beginning, many Dharma friends are all reliable. Then generally in the process of going out, many viewpoints differ, many thoughts differ. When returning, many people stop talking. Many people should pay attention. Whether traveling or going anywhere at the beginning, relationships are especially good. Money and everything are put together. In the middle, viewpoints differ several times. At the end, they don't talk to each other and money is completely separated. So companions and Dharma friends are very important. Similarly, on the long path of Bodhi to practice, we need the support and cooperation of the Sangha. Without the Sangha, we cannot proceed alone on the path to Bodhi. Therefore, the Sangha is like companions. This is in our common vehicle. Generally, the three jewels are taken refuge in this way. The common vehicle is like this. Then, the uncommon vehicle. Generally in the action and conduct tantras of Vajrayana, through offering to the Guru with the three doors. Since Guru is the source of all blessings, then relying on the deity, whether Manjushri or Avalokiteshvara, since the deity is the root of all accomplishments, and taking refuge in Dakinis, since Dakinis are the root of all activities. These three are called the three roots, taking refuge through the three roots as companions. This is the uncommon secret mantrayana. then the supreme skillful means vehicle of Vajra essence, namely Mahayoga and Anu Yoga. In these tantras, through purifying channels appearing as Nirmanakaya, which is our so-called Sangha jewel, then purifying wind, generally the moving wind is purified just now with channels. We said the channels of places are purified. After wind is purified, Sambhogakaya and Dharma jewel can be manifested then after magnificent essence drops are purified. Dharmakaya and Buddha jewel can appear taking refuge through this method. Of course, specifically, if you want to understand in detail in a guide to the words of my perfect teacher that we translated before, there are also partial explanations. This is how it's taught in the Vajra essence vehicle, the ultimate non-deceptive true nature Vajrayana, namely in the Supreme Dzogchen Nyingtik school, the essence emptiness in the mind streams of the refuge field's noble assembly is our so-called Buddha jewel. The nature clarity is the Dharma jewel, and compassion's pervasiveness is called the Sangha jewel. That is, essence emptiness is Dharmakaya, nature clarity is Sambhogakaya, and compassion's pervasiveness is Nirmanakaya. In Guru Rinpoche's Khandro Nyingtik, there are uncommon pith instructions teaching this. The great wisdom, where these three aspects are indivisible, we cultivate repeatedly and with determination to generate this wisdom in our mind streams, relying on this method to take refuge. This is called the Supreme Dzogchen method of refuge. So when we recite refuge verses, whether from the Longchen Nyingtik verses, True Three Jewels, Sugatas, Three Roots, this verse can also be recited, or from Illuminating the Path to Liberation, Namo Guru Dewa Dakini Ye. This can also be recited. According to your different situations, whichever one, but we hope it's best if studying the words of my perfect teacher. Some say they've already practiced with the Jonang school, some say they've already studied with the Gelug school, some say they've already studied with other schools. Of course, if you've studied, that's also very good. I praise this. But in the future, if we want to listen to Supreme Dzogchen Tantric teachings, it's best to follow Venerable Longchenpa's lineage, namely Patrul Rinpoche's Longchen Nyingtik school. Completing the Longchen Nyingtik school's 500,000 preliminaries is best. This is my thinking. This is my personal thought. I'm not saying that completing other practices cannot represent this. I'm not saying this. I don't dare say this either. But my thinking is because each lineage guru's blessings, each lineage guru's accomplishments sought, these are all somewhat different. In some concepts, there are still differences. So even if one has practiced preliminaries of other schools before this time, we have a different connection, a different auspicious circumstance. So it's best to use the Longchen Nyingtik school's 500,000 preliminaries, or omniscient Mipham Rinpoche's Illuminating the Path to Liberation, 500,000 preliminaries. In this way, I completely personally am especially familiar with this Dharma lineage. I feel that if completing practice with such liturgy and lineage, all aspects might be especially excellent. I have this thought. Of course, if you others feel that completing with other practices is also not unacceptable, as long as the Dharma is pure and not with personal. Nowadays there are such personal, for example, some so-and-so guru who randomly wrote a liturgy himself. This I truly cannot guarantee. One must pay attention. After all, refuge methods have been clarified. Next, we must clearly visualize the refuge field and cultivate genuine refuge. Next, when we practice the actual 500,000 preliminaries, it's best to visualize the refuge field. When visualizing, if one has the ability, visualize everything step by step. If one truly has no ability, you yourself think, in front of me on a 5-branch tree there is Guru Rinpoche who embodies the 3 jewels, Dharma jewel, Sangha jewel, etc. Visualize like this. No matter what, you must definitely complete the 100,000 refuge recitations in the 500,000 preliminaries. Everyone present. Some people may be a bit older in age, and memorizing refuge verses may be somewhat difficult. I heard some individual Dharma friends can't even memorize the Avalokiteshvara mantra. In such cases, memorizing refuge verses may be somewhat difficult. Others should have no problem. You must definitely complete this recitation. Specifically speaking, visualize your dwelling place as a pure realm composed of various jewels, beautiful and pleasing, flat and smooth like a mirror surface, without uneven mountains or valleys. Generally speaking, our own place, as I taught before in the Vimalakirti Sutra, Brahmasikin said the Buddha's realm is also very pure. Shariputra didn't accept this at the time. Later, after the Buddha pressed the earth with his toe, the entire 3,000-fold universe all became incomparably pure. Later, the Buddha said, "Actually, my world is originally this pure, it's just that some beings haven't discovered this themselves." Just like using precious vessels to offer delicious food to gods, but because each god's karma differs, some gods find its taste especially delicious while others don't feel this way. Similarly, our world itself is all very pure, but some beings often cannot see this. What they see is impure. For example, in our place, the wind blows especially hard, there's ice everywhere, and it's especially cold when going outside. Many impure feelings. Actually, it should be completely pure, like the pure land of great bliss. It's just that our visualization ability is a bit weak. We should visualize purity. This is very important. This is the first step. Then in front of yourself, visualize a wish-fulfilling tree with 5 branches. This wish-fulfilling tree has flourishing branches and leaves, flowers blooming everywhere, abundant fruits, extremely perfect, extending in all directions, pervading the entire space realm of east, south, west, and north. All branches and leaves are adorned with various precious bells and garlands, very majestic. In front of yourself, you should visualize an especially majestic tree, a wish-fulfilling tree. Everyone can do this. We visualize this in thankas and refuge fields. You can look very carefully. When you can't visualize first, look well. After that, visualize these 5 tree branches separately. I hope when we visualize, we don't need much more besides this. Some people ask many more questions. Actually, if your visualization ability is rich enough, that's already very good. For me, being able to visualize this is already quite good. No need to add much more. But some people still want to ask, how many tree branches? How many tree leaves? These aren't necessary. Being able to visualize this is already quite good. Then visualize on the central tree branch, the essence being the embodiment of all Buddhas of the 3 times, the incomparable great compassionate treasure, qualified root guru. The essence is one's own root guru. Whichever guru you have faith in you, make Guru Rinpoche's essence inseparable from your own root guru and lineage gurus. Visualize this way. The form is Ugyen Vajradhara, Guru Rinpoche. This is different from finding rest in illusion that we studied a while ago. When visualizing finding rest in illusion, the Guru's form doesn't need to change. At that time, Venerable Longchenpa also repeatedly said no need to change. But when practicing this, you must definitely originally, when His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok taught the words of my perfect teacher, he also said, "If your guru is aged and frail or full of wrinkles, you can't visualize, oh my guru is so. Minus you can't think this way. You must definitely visualize as Guru Rinpoche and consort. So the requirements are different for each practice. So here the form is Guru Rinpoche. The essence is one's own root guru. His body color is white with a red tinge, one face and 2 arms, both feet in royal posture, seated on various lotus and sun-moon cushions on the jeweled throne upheld by 8 lions. Various multicolored lotus on sun and moon. Then Guru Rinpoche's right hand holds a pure gold 5-pronged vajra with threatening gesture, and his left hand holds flat a skull cup filled with a treasure vase of nectar of deathless wisdom, the vase mouth adorned by wish-fulfilling trees. Guru Rinpoche is clothed in a brocade cloak. Before, in the Guru Yoga section, if some parts aren't especially clear for you, we specifically have some drawings in the words of my perfect teacher with labeled names, and also Dharma robes, long-sleeved blue tunic, wearing a lotus hat. Guru Rinpoche is in union with the white-bodied consort Yeshe Tsogyal, who holds a curved knife and skull cup. If you have faith in Vajrayana, practice the union image. If you cannot generate such faith and have some impure thoughts, then practicing the single form is also acceptable. Guru Rinpoche's face turns toward oneself, seated in the space in front. This is Guru Rinpoche. We visualize this way in the refuge field. Next, visualize above Guru Rinpoche's head the lineage gurus seated in stacked arrangement, layer upon layer. Originally in the common tantras there are countless lineage gurus. In our many tantras there are different ones such as Gelug lineage gurus, Kagyu lineage gurus. In our Vajrayana tantras there are different lineage gurus, including when we look at some Buddhist histories there are Chetsun Dzogchen lineage gurus and also Longchen Dzogchen lineage gurus, some lineage gurus of the Vimalamitra school. Many lineage gurus. But here we briefly visualize the most fundamental lineage gurus of the Dzogchen Nyingtik school. These lineage gurus also have paintings at the back of the words of my perfect teacher, and also a while ago many people requested them. In front of Lama Yangtik there's the precious garland of history. In the precious garland of history, there are introductions to many gurus. Originally, I painted some colored paintings. Basically, we have paintings of all the lineage gurus here. Everyone should look at them one by one first because these gurus, for each person's mind stream, have an indispensable, auspicious connection for generating Dzogchen awareness and realization. So, we must definitely visualize Dharmakaya Samantabhadra, Sambhogakaya Vajrasattva, Nirmanakaya Garab, Dorje Acharya Manjushri Mitra, which is Jampal Shenyan, Guru Sri Singha, the wise Jainana Sutra, the great Pandita, Vaimala Mitra, which is Vimala Mitra, Urgyen, Guru Rinpoche, Dharma King Trisong Detsen, translator Vairotsana, Dakini, Yeshe Tsogyal. Omniscient Longchen Rabjam Vidyadhara Jigme Lingpa, which is Rigdzin Jigme Lingpa. Next, if you can visualize, there's also, for example, Jigme Gyalwai Nyugu, Jamyang Khiense Wangpo, Patrul Rinpoche, Omniscient Mifam Rinpoche, Thubga Rinpoche, originally the lineage gurus who transmitted the words of my perfect teacher to me personally. This transmitted to His Holiness Jigme Funsok. After the Guru Yoga, at the back of the words of my perfect teacher, there's such a lineage. This was specifically there at the time. So each person may not necessarily be His Holiness Jigme Funsok. There may be some other schools. In that case, no matter what, transmitted down to you, this is called one's own lineage gurus. They should be above Guru Rinpoche just mentioned, and should also be visible very clearly in our refuge field. Above Guru Rinpoche there are such lineage gurus. Their respective ornaments and attire are all complete. The seat cushion of the upper guru doesn't touch the head of the lower guru. These lineage gurus are seated in stacked arrangement like this, surrounded by inconceivable assemblies of deities and the 4 tantra classes, dakinis and heroes, surrounded by vast boundless dakinis and dharma protectors. Around the entire lineage gurus, countless and boundless, surrounding all around. Visualize this way. This is what we teach about the center. In summary, it's very easy. The essence is the root guru. The form is Guru Rinpoche with some lineage gurus above. This is what should be visualized on the central tree branch. Then visualize on the front tree branch around fundamental teacher Buddha Shakyamuni, surrounded by the 1,002 Buddhas of the fortunate Kalpa and Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 times. They are all in the attire of supreme Nirmanakaya form. With crown protuberance on the head, wheel treasures on the feet, etc., possessing the 32 major marks and 80 minor signs, both feet in Vajra posture, body colors of white, yellow, red, green, blue, 5 colors, bodies radiating inconceivable light. This is what we teach about the front tree branch. On the front tree branch, according to different sutras, some sutras teach about the 1,000 Buddhas of the fortunate Kalpa, some sutras teach about 1,002 Buddhas. In our refuge field, the front represents the 1,000 Buddhas. Future, past, present, 3 Buddhas, only 3 Buddhas are painted. Everyone should understand clearly. These are all in supreme Nirmanakaya form, just like Buddha Shakyamuni's attire, all possessing the 32 major marks and 80 minor signs completely. Very majestic bodies, bodies also emanating immeasurable light. On the front tree branch, visualize like this. This represents the Buddha jewel. The Guru Rinpoche in the center just now represents the Guru who is inseparable from the Buddha jewel. Taking refuge in the Guru means the Guru. Then visualize on the right tree branch Manjushri, Vajrapani, and Avalokiteshvara. These three we call the three protectors. Led by the three protectors, the 8 great bodhisattvas surrounded by Mahayana noble assembly. Their body colors are white, yellow, red, green, blue, appearing in the 13 ornaments of perfect Sambhogakaya attire. This is the Sangha jewel. Their feet stand in equal posture. On the right side are Mahayana, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, and also Ksitigarbha, Maitreya, Nivarana Viskambin, etc. All these bodhisattvas are visualized on the right tree branch. In our refuge field, this is clear at a glance and very easy to see clearly. Then visualize on the left tree branch Shariputra and Maudgalyayana, the two principal Shravakas, surrounded by Shravaka and Pratyeka Buddha noble Sangha. Pure white body color, wearing the 3 Dharma robes, holding staffs and alms bowls, both feet standing. On the left tree branch, visualize Shravakas, Pratyeka Buddhas, and other Hinayana Sangha. This represents the Sangha. These two sides in our refuge in the 3 jewels. Refuge in the Sangha jewel is like this. Next, visualize on the back tree branch. Mainly Dharma text volumes stacked layer upon layer in golden glittering shelves. At the very top center are displayed the 6,400,000 verse Dzogchen Tantras. All the volume labels face toward oneself. From the text volumes emanate immeasurable light radiating in all directions, emitting the natural sound of Alegale. What we often call the sounds of vowels and consonants. Oma e, I, u, rira, lila e, I, o, am, aka, kaga, ha, naka, cha, ja, ja, nyata, tha, dadhana, ta, tha, dadhana, pa, fa, ba, bha, ma, yara, lawa, shaksa, sa, haksa. These 50 letters are letters with great blessings. So from the text volumes in the back, such sounds emanate, and radiating light in all directions. We should visualize this. We usually visualize this way. In all the gaps between these tree branches are wisdom protectors and karma protectors. Among them, male protector deities uniformly face outward, accomplishing and protecting the practice of authentic Dharma, dispelling adverse conditions and obstacles, and prohibiting external various obstacles, attacks, etc. from entering internally. In our refuge field, we can also see some protector deities. Male protector deities face outward. They serve a protective function. All external obstacles and adverse conditions are not allowed to enter. This is their function. Female protector deities face inward. They accomplish the activity of internal accomplishments not being lost externally. These activity protector deities all possess limitless merits of wisdom, compassion, and power. Moreover, these protector deities are also extremely loving toward us. Visualize them all as genuine guides for beings with no difference from Buddha Shakyamuni and Guru Rinpoche. Actually, whether karma protectors or wisdom protectors are all manifestations of the Buddha. If we teach Guhyagarbha Tantra, they are all manifestations of activities. So we should know that all protector deities and yidams are all manifestations of the principal deity. When everyone practices refuge, you must definitely be able to visualize. If you yourself find it difficult to visualize all 5 objects at the same time, then for a while, visualize the central Guru Rinpoche for a while. You can visualize the left Sangha for a while, the right Sangha for a while, visualize the text volumes in back for a while, the Buddhas of 3 times in front. While reciting, visualize. It's best to recite in retreat style. When we recite refuge verses, the objects of visualization are these. Then when I take refuge, what should I think in my mind? This is most crucial, because we take refuge. Why do I want to take refuge? Refuge means all of myself, my body and my life. I entrust everything to you. This kind of life refuge, we sometimes call it dedicating life to the Buddha. Compilation of different stories in sutras and vinayas teaches this way. All who dedicate life to the Buddha do not go to the 3 evil paths. They receive blessings among gods and humans, later attaining the realm of nirvana. Here it teaches that if we dedicate life to the Buddha, dedicate life to the 3 jewels, then we don't fall into lower realms and can obtain merit in divine and human realms. So we must wholeheartedly take refuge in the 3 jewels. With what kind of mindset do we take refuge? This is very important. The purpose of refuge is to benefit limitless beings. Everyone present, this thought is extremely important. We must definitely, when we practice preliminaries this time, don't. When you took refuge before, for my physical health. Namo Guru Dewa Dakiniye Lamaye Dan Khandro Tsunam Dang. Or, for the purpose I just mentioned, to be able to listen to tantric teachings in the future, or because this number is very important. Dharma friends have already finished reciting, but I haven't finished yet. No matter what, I must complete this number. It's not like this. Why do we recite over 100,000 this time? I think repeatedly I'm taking refuge for the benefit of limitless beings. What is my method of refuge? This will be explained specifically below. Below is from one's own side. Just now, we discussed the objects of refuge. The 3 jewels should be visualized this way. Then when we ourselves take refuge, next step, visualize this life's father on your right side. Otherwise, the 2 parents would fight. Originally, parents often love to quarrel. This is my position. What are you doing? Don't sit here. My son said I should be arranged here. Visualize father on the left side, mother on the right side. That won't work either. It's nothing. Switching is also okay if really not working. Visualize mother on the left side, right? In front are enemies who hate oneself and harmful, obstructing spirits as the leaders, all beings of the 3 realms and 6 paths. Like people gathered in a grand assembly on earth, they gather together. Everyone faces the refuge field, palms together, 3 doors respectfully, bodies beginning to prostrate respectfully. Speech reciting refuge verses, mind single-pointedly, silently reciting. So when we visualize, this is very important. Everyone must definitely include your own parents because they are sources of kindness. A guide to the words of my perfect teacher and other preliminaries also teach in this lifetime we must definitely have gratitude toward our own parents. Visualize left and right sides this way. Then, in front of yourself, those with the worst relationship, who often the other day a Dharma friend said, I'm practicing preliminaries, but recently there are too many people with bad relationships with me, so in front of me are all a group of Dharma friends. Today another one was added, because she said she quarreled with another person, every day quarreling with someone. After quarreling, she again puts them in front of herself to visualize no choice. What she said is also right, whatever is possible. So we must definitely visualize ourselves. Indeed, this is not a joke. I hope our present Dharma friends, perhaps some people are good to everyone. Having no one with bad relationships, in that case, you can just visualize beings of the 6 realms of samsara in front. No need to individually visualize a particularly important person in front. If in this lifetime there are some obstructing spirits creating obstacles for your body, or in your practice process there are some obstructing spirits creating obstacles, they can be visualized in front. Or in your life process, those with the worst relationship with you who slander you for no reason, harm you for no reason, these people you must definitely visualize in front of you. Because when you prostrate to the 3 jewels, prostrating behind them makes you happier in your heart. So you must definitely visualize them in front of yourself. Then physically prostrate, verbally, respectfully recite the refuge verses below. Mentally visualizing is most important. This must definitely be done. When everyone visualizes, as ordinary people, we may not be very clear every day, but you should at least sit for 1 session and visualize once. We must definitely, today I recite refuge verses not for any other purpose. Below we should visualize like this. So what should we visualize? From now on, whether I rise or fall, whether suffering or happiness, good or bad, sickness or pain, except for you, Guru and 3 jewels, there is no other refuge, protector, lord, ally, object of hope, or place of refuge. This is very important. If we truly have an especially devout heart before the Guru, 3 jewels, and refuge field. Anyway, from now on, I entrust everything to you. The other day, there was a leader who usually treats me poorly. Once, when they had a conflict with locals, they asked me to go speak to the locals. Usually when we build schools, at this time he ignores me. He often keeps distance from me. Then that day, having no other choice, he called me to go persuade the common people. That day, he had great faith in me. I entrust everything to you. So we truly, before the 3 jewels, everything depends on you, whether I suffer or am happy. Truly generating such a mind in our hearts is very difficult. if we don't have such especially devout and sincere hearts. Many people sometimes verbally say they take refuge in the three jewels, refuge in Buddha, refuge in Dharma, refuge in Sangha. Many people say this, but in their hearts, I depend on you for everything. Everything relies on you. Besides the three jewels, I have no other refuge in this world. With such a mindset we recite, this time I hope in terms of quality, on one hand benefiting beings, on the other hand wholeheartedly. Everything is these key words. I hope everyone definitely contemplates them repeatedly. Otherwise, the effect of our refuge recitation may not be very good. Here it also teaches, besides you there is no other protector, no other place of refuge. Therefore, from today until attaining the fruit of Bodhi, I wholeheartedly, sincerely entrust myself completely to you. In accomplishing any matter, I neither ask my father, nor consult with my mother, nor make my own decisions. I completely depend on you, Guru and Three Jewels. I don't consult with father or mother. No matter, parents all have confused thinking. Speaking to them, they definitely won't have very good advice. There's nothing. Besides you Three Jewels, I have no other refuge, Lord, in this world. I depend on you with all my strength. Whether you make me suffer or happy from now on, I wholeheartedly take refuge in the Buddha. Actually, if each of us truly wants to become a disciple of the Three Jewels, we need such a heart. Then with such a mindset, if you recite 100,000 times, then in terms of quality, you definitely pass. Otherwise, before, His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok also taught that generally speaking, the 500,000 preliminaries are best practiced in retreat style without other distractions, truly in a relatively quiet state every day. At the beginning, generate bodhicitta, then when reciting, single-pointedly place some refuge field tankas in front and make some offerings before the refuge field. Then recite well yourself. First recite the motivation ritual, then dedicate merit at the end. If completed this way each time, then our preliminaries will definitely be practiced very perfectly. So I hope I also this time taught the words of my perfect teacher quite extensively in my lifetime. This should be the first most extensive teaching and also the last such most extensive teaching. We present people must definitely put effort into this, such a mindset to offer everything to you, diligently practice for you. Besides you, there is no other place of refuge or hope. With such utterly sincere and intense mind, recite the refuge verses below, very devoutly. Besides you Three Jewels, I have no other place to depend on. For the benefit of beings, I wholeheartedly take refuge in the Three Jewels. In summary, with such a mindset, begin reciting the refuge verses. If reciting the refuge verses in Tibetan, Konchok sumdang pakpetsa sumla, salung tigle rangjik changchup sem ngowo rangjik tukje kilkhorla, changchup nyampar bardu kyapsu chi, in the true Three Jewels, noble three roots, channels, energies, essence drops, and natural bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until attaining bodhi. Reciting this 100,000 times is also acceptable, or from illuminating the path to liberation, Namo Guru, Dewada Kiniye, Lama Yidam Khandrot, Sonam Dang Sangye Chodang Pakpo, Gendunla, Dadak Drukpeke Bukyapsuchi. Reciting with this, I think many people may be more familiar with this one. This is also acceptable. There's no great difference. In summary, we must definitely start from tomorrow. All of us who listen to recordings and study group members must definitely complete 100,000 refuge recitations. Our on-site Academy Dharma friends must definitely complete 100,000 refuge recitations recently. If conditions and circumstances permit, everyone should do it in retreat style. If retreat is really impossible, each class should complete it collectively. In summary, we must definitely complete 100,000 recitations. Our Nying Mapa's many lineage gurus and lineage gurus of other schools of Tibetan Buddhism especially emphasize this. Now, very few people say they don't emphasize it, but they have another way of teaching, another way of doing. This is beyond our imagination, including Patrul Rinpoche, Mifam Rinpoche, our His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok, etc. Many great masters never transmitted any teachings without truly practicing the 500,000 preliminaries. So I hope everyone present this time must definitely, not just in quantity, but try our best to pass in quality. recite 100,000 refuge verses. During each session, recite refuge verses with all your heart and effort. The total number added up should at least complete 100,000. You see, these are Patrul Rinpoche's Vajra words. Now, many people have different sayings. I think they're unreasonable. The words of my perfect teacher says at least recite 100,000. It doesn't say at least have you recite a few hundred, and that's enough. So, although this takes some effort, I think if we want to attain liberation, we definitely need to put in some effort. If you don't put in effort, although your life may have passed 70 or 80 years, your practice may not be very good. I see Geshe Chikawa said this. He said if you don't truly practice, even if you live 60 years, some of this time is wasted for food and drink. Some is wasted for your own sleep. Some wasted for stopping illness and pain. Is there even 5 years of true practice? For example, if someone lives 60 years, when they reach 60, summarizing their whole life, do they have 5 years of true practice? Basically, I think among us present, there may not be. So life is very short. If we haven't even practiced one set of 500,000 preliminaries, then being busy a whole lifetime, what do we actually gain? Nothing. How many times did those great masters of the past practice preliminaries in their lifetime? How many sets of 600,000 preliminaries did they complete? If we haven't even completed one set of 500,000 with passing quality, we truly don't count as genuine practitioners. So everyone must definitely pay attention to this. Before reaching the quantity, we must definitely practice in retreat form. Patrul Rinpoche said to do it in retreat form. What kind of mark should be put under these two words, retreat? Can you do it? It's best. I hope many of us this time is a relatively rare opportunity. We must definitely do it in retreat style, or each person in their own home through various means. Try to avoid some distracting circumstances, then begin practicing to complete the 500,000 preliminaries. In daily life, we should also recite and practice refuge. Then after you complete the 500,000 preliminaries, should you completely abandon it? It's not like this. Usually also recite refuge verses. We must continue reciting and practicing. Definitely do this. Good, we'll stop here today.
Bandara Badma Asadarda Bandara Badma Asada Bandara Badma Asadarda